Hi, welcome to my 14th episode of Friday Sews / October Makes. We're in the first week of October and it's exciting. There's so much to make, sew, craft, create. If you're interested in finding out what's in my sewing room this week, then stick around. Okay, so first, really quickly, what you're seeing behind me is this beautiful kind of tangerine colored fabric, and it is sheer and soft. It's 100% cotton, and I found it in the nursery / juvenile section of my local Joann's. I was thinking not necessarily for nursery, but more for me, just to have something to pair with the skirt that I'm currently working on. I spoke a little bit about that in episode 12. The pattern is McCalls. It's a reversible skirt and it's 7129. So, and I'm making the semi-fitted version and I've just lined it with some ivory cotton. It's got pockets, it's a wrap, and I'm currently making a crop Burda top. Again, I shared that in episode 12, but I wanted to have a couple of other options because after all, if you're sewing items and garments, you really should wear it more than once or pair it with more, multiple pieces of clothing. So I was excited to get this. I've already washed it, dried it, and it didn't crinkle like a gauze, even though it feels like a gauze. I'm super excited to have it and to see that it pretty much held up nicely. So that's going to be something yet to be determined as far as what pattern I'm going to make. If you have any suggestions, please share those. So let's move on to something that more is in line with home decorating. So check out this pile of pre-cuts. What is this, you ask? Well, it is in preparation for the 10-minute table scarf. Now, I've never made a 10-minute table scarf, and I certainly should have, but now I have a lot more time for sewing as opposed to in past years. And I do have an example of a completed one that's not necessarily fall. Oops, this was for my bedroom. And it was made by a secretary of a school site that I worked in as I was the full-time teacher. She was a wonderful school secretary, and she was offering her services to those of us busy teachers during the holidays. She was making these really great scarves, table runners, you could say. I call them table scarves because they're pretty short, but she was sewing them, and she customized this for me. And the teachers loved them, and we were giving them as gifts to our friends and family. So I picked out and paid for the fabric. This would be considered the accent fabric. And then there's the border, which would be the back, and gave her that. So I paid basically for her labor. She used batting, so it is nice, and it's more substantial than, it's not as floppy than people that can sew it or sew it without. So, but it's certainly a personal preference. And then I also chose and bought some specialized buttons. So she sewed those on as well. So that's another option. You can put little buttons in the where the seams meet. So this is an example of a really cute table scarf, and apparently they can be made in 10 minutes. Now, I've already cut the fabric and I didn't time myself, and I like to take my time. I don't like to rush with sewing, but I wanted to show you that This is a really cool Halloween fabric, and it is a 2016 Alexander Henry design, and it's called Trickery. And I was able to score this at Joann's, I think probably because it was first released in 2016. It's an older design, but it's certainly still popular. There was barely any left on the bolt. I was able to score a yard. And if you make these, I'm going to link a process video to this one, but there's tons of videos, tutorials available on this. But basically it's width of fabric, so 44 inches wide, so it's cut on a fold. And then this section is 12 inches. So if you buy a yard, you can make 3 table scarves. So one for yourself, and give a couple as gifts to friends and family. So I have this that I'm excited about, and then I also have some additional fabrics to pair with it. So this would be the example of do I have it upside down? No, I don't think so. Of the border / the back, also purchased at Joann's. And I love the gold and the cats and everything Halloween. It's not too scary. And this backing is glow in the dark stars, and this was bought last year at Joann's. And then I have this one, which is kind of a vintage feel. It's cute with the cats, black cats, pumpkins, and owls. It's from last year's line. And then I cut the batting for those runners. Now I didn't have fusible batting, which I think would be easier to use, but I'm using what I have in my stash. So I could quilt these on in the accent section of that table scarf if I wanted to, being careful that because the designs are very detailed. So I don't know, I might do some simple quilting, maybe not. I have a free motion foot that I definitely need to practice because I want to learn more about quilting in my quilting techniques. Anyway, so that is in a stack in my sewing room. And just a quick update on my progress for Dress a Girl Around the World, which I discussed in episode 13. I have 4 dresses that are almost finished and 2 that are cut out that need to be constructed. So this is dress 1 in the blue tones with the square pockets. I just need, obviously everything is finished including the hem. I just need to attach those bias tape straps and get these shipped off to where they need to go. The second one is this cute design with the cute square pockets and some floral lace. It's a good sturdy lace. They don't want you to use anything that's flimsy and it could rip or fall off. So again, it's hemmed, it's ready to roll. The elastic is in the neckline. Pockets are good to go, and I just need to get those bias tape straps sewn on. Third dress, same fabric but different pocket design, so cute. These have the rounded style pocket, and I found the rickrack, the jumbo rickrack, in a vintage haul of Notions. So that's always a good place to find those notions, especially rickrack. It seems to be a lot of rickrack in the world of vintage findings. And then this one, which has also those rounded pockets, and I sewed on some little yellow buttons that I also found in the vintage shop. and some eyelet lace and some tiny baby rickrack. So that's super cute, and they're sewed on really well, so there shouldn't be any problem with them falling off. So again, I've got some warm color dresses now that I'm going to work on. So those are the cool tones. I'm going to work on the warm tones, and that's about it. So I'm hoping that you have some inspiration. I would love to see a table scarf, especially Halloween. Those are fun. I will post the finished scarves probably on Instagram. Watch out for that process video on how to make them. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time in the sewing room. For now, signing off. Bye.